Welcome. In a previous video I worked on gluing this carpet to this panel on this door, and it didn't work. I used a contact adhesive and I wasn't happy with it. So I bought some of this E6000 at Walmart, and you can see it's not even open. What I read online is this is it's very thick, so I wasn't sure I could get it on the whole surface. So then I bought this 527 glue, which is thinner, and I called the company and asked them if this would work on plastic, and they said plastic's super hard to glue. This probably won't work, but I could try it. So I did try this on here, and it didn't work at all. I wouldn't say this is bad glue. They said it probably wouldn't work. So I'll try this for something else someday maybe. So what I ended up doing is I used my wife's little craft glue gun, and I glued here. You could probably barely see it. I glued this little spot to right, well, let's see if I can get this on camera, right here. And it held pretty tight. I was able to pop it loose, but it took quite a bit of force. It almost seemed like I could ruin this thing. So I thought hot glue is what I want to use to attach this. So I bought this hot glue gun on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description of this, and if you use that link, it helps me out a little bit. It doesn't cost you anything extra. And this has an extra long tip on it. This also has a 100-watt setting on it. So you can squirt the glue out a little faster, because I don't want to take like 3 hours to glue this. I just want to get it done. So what I've done is, one thing when I glued this with the contact cement, I shoved this up into this groove, and I think that was the wrong thing to do. What I'm going to do this time is I could just see the outline of the creases here, that line up here. So I marked those, or at least some of them. So I can kind of line this up here. Okay, it's kind of hard to see all this on camera. I need a wider lens. So what I can do is line up the crease that goes this way and the crease that goes this way right here. And I'll put a dab of glue on there and I'll hold it, and that'll kind of mark the center, and then I'll glue from the inside out. Okay, that's still cooling off. I don't want to ruin that bond. So I'll just go along and maybe put a couple more in here to help position it. Maybe one on each side. So what I'm trying here is I'm holding it with my thumb, pulling the carpet back, putting the spot on there, and then pressing it down. So I've only had this for minutes, and already I'm pretty impressed that it's not dripping glue out of this tip. That's very handy. So I could make a big mess. Okay, so it looks like I can kind of fold this open here. So I'm going to go and kind of tack this along the bottom edge. The main thing I don't want is puckers in this. I don't want like to be puckered up. So I'll have to just make sure I keep it really smooth while I'm doing this. So far it's looking pretty good. Okay, so I've done some spots there. Now I'm going to run a bead along here. So this will really test out this hot glue gun now, because I'm going to be pumping quite a bit of glue out. Okay, I had to throw another stick in there. That kind of slowed me down. I'm getting a lot of little threads here. It's probably hard to see. Hopefully when I'm done I can vacuum this or brush it off, get all these little filaments out of the way. Okay, so I don't know how well it's going to hold, but I'm going to take some of these and put little spots here and fold them over. I'm going to see if these will hold at all. Probably not. It doesn't seem to be holding all that well. I'll check this side and see how this is. It's looking pretty good. I'll put another stripe across here. So I have this corner where I can peel it back here, so I think I'm going to glue this up and then peel this over to get it around the contour properly. The gap looks pretty good on the right and left of this part here. And if you watch my other video, I had to drill this out, and I'll probably end up hot gluing this in too. So I've been starting over here and going this way. I'm going to start at this end and go that way this time, because this is the hottest, the glue you first shoot out's the hottest glue. So this is hotter and this is cooler, and I want to reverse that in case the cooler glue isn't holding quite as well. This will even it out a little bit. Okay, so I don't have much room left here, so I can probably maybe do one or two more runs across here. Looks like when I smashed that down, it kind of went to the edge, so I'll just stick the nozzle in here and I'll squirt some up here along the top, like so. And I'll press that in, and I'll use my putty knife to make sure the carpet's below that little groove. You can see how that looks. It came out real nice. Okay, so now I'm going to get this corner. I'm just going to squirt a bunch on here and then lay it flat. So now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'll work some in here. I may do this in stages, actually. I'll glue some of this. Okay, so you can see here I still have to tuck some of this in, but the seam looks pretty good. There was a little glue that kind of stuck out here. I got to tuck some of this in, but otherwise this is looking pretty good, and it seems like it's pretty secure. So I can go on the back side here and fill all of this in and tuck this in. But I may glue some of these and clamp it. I haven't decided that yet, but I'm done with this part of gluing, and I think it turned out pretty good. Okay, so I glued this piece back in off camera. There, I put some hot glue in there and glued it in place, and now I'm going to reinstall this back on the door. But before I do that, I'm going to use this 303 protectant on it, on the plastic pieces. I'm going to just rub this on and then buff it out. And this will protect you from sun and just other things. It's kind of like Armor All, but better. So I'll put a link in the description of this, and if you buy some of this using that, like, it helps me out a little bit. It doesn't cost you anything extra. And I'll just squirt this on here and then rub it in and then buff it out. It's probably better to rub it on the cloth first. And I'm mostly concerned about getting the area that's going to be covered by the door panel. I'll also do the inside here. And I'll do this outside strip. So you can see that just rejuvenated this plastic. It was kind of dry looking after I cleaned it with all the solvents and such. So now I'll position this on the door, and I didn't staple all this cloth down, so I need to make sure that it's tucked in. So I'll kind of set this down and angle it like that, and I'll get all the screws marked off, or inserted. Okay, so I got all the screws in. I had trouble with this one, but I was able to get it in. I had this one in the wrong hole, apparently. I had it down here, but I think it's supposed to go in this hole. So I'll flip this over and look at it and see what it looks like. Okay, it's not too bad. There's a little bit of carpet sticking out here. I don't know if I can take my putty knife maybe and kind of press it in. I can maybe loosen the screws and see if I can tuck that in a little bit. But the seam looks pretty good here. Looks good inside here and over here. Here's the bottom. It looks like it could, I mean, it's pretty good. I'm going to probably leave it, but looks way better than before. So if you haven't seen the video where I took this apart, I'll put a link in the description of my Land Cruiser playlist, and I have all my videos on there. But if you have any questions about this, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.